Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Woldenburn Podcast. My name is Emily, and I am just so glad that you're here today. I'm coming to you from Kentucky, where I live with my wonderful husband and our beautiful little boy. It has been a little bit since the last podcast episode, which I'll talk about in a second. So if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. I hope that you enjoy it. We talk about knitting and crocheting and motherhood and crafting and life stuff. Just sort of a general chit-chatty, but with a heavy dose of crafting things. I'm hoping to get back into sewing a bit more here, so there will be hopefully more of that. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching. I so appreciate you taking some time out of your day to just listen to me chat about all sorts of crafty things. So we're gonna have a little bit of a life update here. It is a little bit on the sadder side. So just in case, trigger warning, we're going to be talking a little bit about miscarriage, unfortunately, and just kind of some stuff with that. So I'm going to put a timestamp here on the screen and probably down below if you just want to skip over into the knitting, crafting, happy sorts of things, then feel free to do that. How exactly to talk about this? At the beginning of August, just after we moved into our new house, we found out that we were expecting another baby, and we were both very, very excited and thrilled about it. But then unfortunately, about a month ago now, I had a miscarriage, and that was really rough. Of course, obviously. I was about 10 weeks pregnant, but thankfully I don't know if you could say thankfully, but it looked like, honestly, by the time I'd gotten a positive pregnancy test, the baby was already gone. So in a weird way, that kind of almost made it a little bit easier. Just knowing that anything I had done since I found out that I was pregnant hadn't caused it, if you will. And obviously I know that you can't, unless you're doing really crazy, wacky stuff, you can't do anything to prevent a miscarriage. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's a little bit weird to talk about it still. We've been very much like just not discussing it with people, just to kind of process it on our own. But that's why I've been gone. And then of course the week right after that, baby Tam decided that he was going to adjust his sleeping schedule from 2 naps per day to 1 nap, and he was up all night. So it was honestly the most difficult week of motherhood that I have had so far. It was just emotionally drained, physically drained, just overall exhausted. So September was a very rough time. Let's put it that way. But I was kind of glad when October happened. And then of course, right at the beginning of October, we had a family vacation with Micah's family. So that was just a lot. It was actually our third 9-hour plus drive in 6 months. So it has been overall just very exhausting. But that is why we have things like knitting and being at home and cozy things to kind of help cope with that. So, overall, we're doing pretty good. As good as you can be with situations like this. Mostly we're very thankful. Everything went as smoothly as it could. I'm gonna go get I'm gonna go blow my nose. Okay, I've got my napkin here. As I was saying, everything went as smoothly as it could physically. There was no, there was no difficulty. It happened, and I'm okay physically. Mostly okay emotionally, honestly. I don't know. God has been so good, and He has just given me such a sense of peace. Obviously, there is that there is that mourning part of it where you know, you're like, I'm supposed to be pregnant right now. But it all happens in God's timing, and He knows the plan that He has for us, and it'll all happen according to His plan. But yeah, mostly as long as I don't talk about it or think about it too much, I'm good. It's just every now and then something will come up and it'll kind of remind me of it. It's a little bit, you know, there is the grieving process, obviously. But yeah, so that has been a little bit challenging. And then, like I said, the sleep deprivation was just not helping. But things have kind of settled down a little bit. Unfortunately, with going on vacation, it kind of messed up baby Tim's sleeping schedule again. But last night he did okay. He's napping right now. So we're getting there. But yeah, I think that's about all that I have to say as far as that. Other than that, life stuff has just been same old, same old. Just kind of coping day to day and just doing what needs to be done. So yeah, overall we're very grateful. I'm so grateful for my mom. My mom was amazing throughout the whole process. My sisters were all amazing. Micah was absolutely phenomenal. He was the sweetest thing ever. He went and got us like Chick-fil-A as like a little treat while we were waiting for everything to kind of happen. He came home from work early and went and got us Chick-fil-A because I was just so stressed out. I hadn't been eating anything the whole day, obviously. So he went and did that, and we just kind of sat on the couch, and he's been playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the newest Zelda game. And so he just kind of sat, and we just sat there while the baby was napping and just did that, and just, yeah, so that was really lovely. He was just overall so supportive and so amazing that I just want to, like, you know, say that I'm very blessed with the amazing husband that I have. But yeah, other than that, it's just, we went to the beach at the beginning of October. Well, last week. We just got back on Sunday, so less than a week ago. And it was a little bit hard. I'm very much an introvert and a homebody, so sometimes being around a lot of people like non-stop for several days in a row, I'm just kind of like, oh. And then also, my hormones have been all over the place. So there have been many days where I have just felt like jittery and on edge. And it's just kind of part of the process. Hormones are wacky things. But it was really nice. We got to go walk on the beach, and baby Tam loved it. He would like crawl around in the sand and splash in the water a bit, and we took him to the pool. And honestly, we tried to do it as much as possible, where we really just relaxed. We didn't really go anywhere and do anything. We just stayed in the hotel, condo, whatever you want to call it, place. And it worked out too, because this is the first family vacation we've really gone on that we've had a baby. And so he was napping amazingly. He would nap for like 2 to 3 hours per day. And so we would just kind of hang out, and I would sit there and knit, and Micah would do his thing. And so that was really lovely, to just kind of be in a different place, but just still very relaxing. The drive was not fun. I'm done with long drives. Basically, in May, we went to visit my mom, and, well, not my mom, my family. We surprised my mom. So that was our 9+ hour drive in the car to South Carolina. And then right at the beginning of July, it was less than a month later, we had another drive to go to my husband's cousin's wedding. That was such a fun trip, but again, like, it's a lot of time in the car. And then we had this family vacation. So we're just kind of done with long drives. Because the thing is with a baby, even if the GPS says, oh, it's only like 8.5 hours, by the time you're all done with the stops you have to do and whatnot, one of the days we were in the car for 11 hours straight, and the other time we were in the car for, I think, almost 11 hours. It was like 10 hours and something. So it's a long, long day. And Mike and I very much tried to kind of dry for a couple hours, switch off, dry for a couple hours, switch off, so that we really share the driving. But yeah, so that's kind of all that. I wanted to make one note before I dive into the knitting. This is about the knitting. So if you skipped over the live segment, welcome back. I am not a crazy prolific knitter. You might think, if this is your first ever episode watching this, like, oh my goodness, she does so much knitting. I have used knitting and crocheting in some ways as a coping mechanism for some of the crazy stuff that's been going on, and I also had many different projects that were very close to being done, but I finally finished like a couple of them. So I have 4 finished objects to share with you. I have many different whips to show you. I have an older whip that I've pulled back out and I'm kind of messing with. And then I have like 3 or 4 new cast-ons to talk about. I have some beautiful, beautiful acquisitions to talk about. And then I have a little bit of like my yarn shop update for you. But yeah, I just wanted to make a note here. Like, I'm a mom with a young kid. I don't get loads and loads of knitting time, but it's one of those things that for me, and in the season that I'm in right now with just one child who, when he's napping, like, I don't have other kids to watch, I usually make a priority of taking that time to just sit and, like, almost always. Sometimes I'll do like some tidying and a little bit of cleaning stuff that's easier to do when the baby's not there. But most of the time, especially in the last month or so, I have been really prioritizing trying to just sit down, watch a podcast or something, and do some knitting. So that is why I have been able to do as much as I have. So this is not normal. And then the other thing is, like I said, I have several works in progress that are very close to being done. So probably next episode, I'm expecting to have a few more like finished objects, but I'm not a very fast knitter, and it's something I just wanted to make a note of, because sometimes if I watch some podcasts where it seems like they've knit like 3 sweaters in 2 weeks, it's intimidating and it feels a little like pressure, like, oh my goodness, I am not knitting fast enough, knit faster, woman. And so I just wanted to put that out there, that knitting is supposed to be a very cozy and hygge sort of a thing, if you like that word. I'm a fan. So don't worry about it. Everybody knits and crafts at their own pace. If you're really fast and you can get things done, that's awesome. But if you're not, that's okay too. That's exactly the same amount of awesomeness. But anyway, enough intro. Let's talk about some knitting projects. So actually I have a crochet project. This is a very long-term whip for those of you that have been watching for a while. Let me pull that up here for you. So this one is actually a crochet project. It is let's make sure I'm showing you the right side. Yeah, that's the side. It's the crochet blanket that I have been working on since before baby was born, and he's now over a year old. So I started working on making the individual squares when I was pregnant with him, and I was basing this off of I think it's mushroom tote bag pattern, and I can never remember the designer's name, so it'll be down below. Where my plan was to make all of these squares, seam them together, and then do mushrooms on them. Well, when I was kind of going through this whole process in September, I wanted something completely different from what I was working on. I just wanted, I don't know, I just wanted something different. So I picked this up and I just worked on finishing it. Basically, I had all of the squares done, and I think they were all, that's what it was. They were all seamed together, but I hadn't figured out what to do with the border. And I decided to just use some of the other colors that I had. I did 2 rows of just like granny stitch, and then I did 2 rows of half double crochet on there. There we go. And this is all crocheted out of Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee. I love this cotton yarn. So it's a pretty heavy blanket, but it's very soft and very cozy. And yeah, I'm so happy to have it done. It's a good sized blanket. Like, it's almost like probably like a small lap throw. So it's a decent size. I don't know what the exact dimensions of it are. But then, of course, I had a million and one ends to weave in. And so that was another thing that I kind of did when I was just kind of resting and on the couch and just taking a day. I just kind of sat there, and when I had the chance, I would weave in a few ends. And yeah, I'm counting this as a finished object. You might notice there are no mushrooms on here. I might come back and add mushrooms to it, and I might not. That's something that I'm throwing down the road, if you will. I still have the yarn for it, but the actual blanket is done. And let me see if I can stand up and show you here. So, it's kind of shadowy. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it, and I'm also thrilled to have it done and off the hook. I think it was a size, it was the gold hook in my set. I can't remember for sure. I think it was a G, but I'll see if I can look at it and I'll put it in the show notes down below. But yeah, so I'm very, very happy to have this done. It was just, it was one of those things. It was very satisfying because I was finishing something that had been, in a way, hanging over my head for so long that it was really restful, and it was very, very helpful. So yeah. And then I finished this one, and I was like, well, now I want to finish something else. So I picked up the Joyous Baby Cardigan by, I believe her name is Sandra. I don't know how to pronounce her username, or what you call it, but I pulled this back out and I finished it. I think, yeah, these ends are all woven in. I just haven't snipped them off. That's what it was. But yeah, I can't remember exactly where I was. I think the last time I shared this, I may have just finished up the sleeves and started the body, and so I just did lots and lots of knitting, and it was so lovely. It was the nicest thing to work on. It doesn't have buttons on it just yet. I need to go through my button stash and see if I can find some good buttons, but I haven't done that just yet. So yeah, this is knit out of the Barocco Vintage Baby DK, which is a blend of like acrylic and wool and nylon, and I really like it. It's nice and soft and snuggly, and technically you can throw it in the washer and dryer. I haven't done that with this one, but technically you can. But yeah, so I highly recommend the pattern. I'm definitely planning to make more. I may see if I can make Baby Tam one that's in his size now. That would be super fun, but yeah. That one. And then the next two are ones that you haven't even seen. So the first one is one that I've talked about. This is the Newborn Vertebrae Cardigan by Kelly Van something. And I knit this out of the Baby Bee from Hobby Lobby. I think it's Sweet Delight yarn, in just this lovely like sagey pale green. And this is part of why I wanted to make sure to film today, was because we're actually going to, the baby that this is a gift for has been born. It's a beautiful little girl, and we're going to see the family today, take them some food and stuff, so I need to bundle this up and give it to them. I knit this out of a DK weight yarn, even though the pattern calls for a fingering weight. I knit it on a US size 3, which is what's called for in the pattern. And I did that because I wanted to make it just a little bit bigger. It turned out bigger than I expected it to, but that's okay. And one of the things, the other major change that I made was I did it all in garter stitch rather than the stockinette that the pattern calls for. So it is so soft and squidgy. I ran this through the washer and dryer. Brave of me, I know. But it said that the yarn was able to do that, so I was like, well, before I give it to him, let me just make sure that nothing goes crazy wrong. And I did this yesterday, knowing we were going to see the family today. And I was like, well, worst case scenario, if it destroys it, we're bringing him food. Like, they're not going to miss a cardigan. But it turned out perfectly fine. It came through. It's a lot. I don't know if you can kind of see it. It's very, very fuzzy now, which I don't mind. But it is so, so soft. Like, my husband picked it up and was like, oh, this is so soft. And I was like, I know. So I'm very happy with it. And the reason why I really love this design is you can see the fronts of the cardigan are very, very narrow. So the pattern is, they have it all the way from baby through adult, but only the newborn version is free. But I love it because it's perfect for, like, if you're trying to do skin to skin with a newborn, you can put it around the newborn and then all of their back is covered, but then the front is really open. Or if you have a little bit of an older baby, it just means that if you have the cardigan on them and they tend to spit up a lot, which my little boy definitely did. Oh my goodness. Then they aren't constantly getting all of that on their cardigan. So I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful design, and I have plans to knit more. I have my sister's having a little baby later in the year, so I'm going to knit her one, and then I would like to have just a couple just in my stash for future babies, but then also just lined up for gift knits. So I have at least 2 or 3 more planned, and I have the yarn for it because Hobby Lobby did a what is it, where they're clearing out the color lot or whatever sale, and so I was able to get a decent amount of yarn from that for very inexpensively. We're not going to talk about it today because I have plenty of other things to talk about, but I was able to get a few more colors of this particular Sweet Delight yarn, which is, I think it's a blend of acrylic and, I should have brought a ball tag with me. It's like nylon and acrylic or something, but it's lovely. It's so soft. I'm very, very pleased with how it works up. So that one. And then the last finished object I have to share with you is a hat. So you may remember, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, I shared that Susan from Delightful Work, she makes amazing project bags. I have 3 efforts to talk about that I have projects in, technically 4, but anyway, she sent me a bunch. She sent me several skeins of this, which is the Felici worsted from Knit Picks. My brain just was like, she sent me several skeins of this, and I was, at the time when I opened it, I was like, what am I going to use this for? It's a self-striping yarn, as you can see, and I was just like, what kind of a project would I need? It started cooling down, and I realized that my little boy did not have any hat that would fit him. I made him some for when I made him 1, or did I make him 2? For when he was really little, but he's quite a bit bigger now, so he didn't have any hat. And I was like, this is the perfect thing to use for this yarn. So I knit him a hat, and I sort of based it off of, I think it's the Pro Soho, like classic ribbed hat or basic ribbed hat. It's a 1x1 ribbing, and their pattern calls for a DK weight and a US size 3, I think. I used a worsted weight, and I went up to a US size 4, and it worked perfectly. And I just kind of, honestly, I got the cast on number. That's the other thing I did. Let me slow down. I did the smallest size, like the baby size, because I knew it was going to end up a little bit bigger because my yarn is thicker. So I just used their cast on number, which it's a free pattern. So I cast on 84 stitches and then just did my 1x1 rib, and then I didn't look at it. I kind of just did my own thing with the decreases. It doesn't look amazing, but it's so hidden in the yarn, and it's a little kid's hat, so it doesn't matter. The struggle is now to get him to keep it on his head. Babies and hats and socks, they just want to pull them off. Like, what gives? But I wanted to make sure he had something because the temperatures are definitely dropping here in Kentucky, and I love it. It's perfect. Technically, it like will fit on my head. I'm not going to put it on. So this is a very, very lovely stretchy hat, and it was super easy. So the other nice thing is that I was able to, the week before we went on vacation, I was taking him to the playground every day to try and kind of wear him out so that he would actually sleep for a good amount of time during the day. He would get a good nap in, which worked. And I found that I could just take this because it was just one by one moving in the round, I could take this and walk around on the playground and follow him around and knit, which was amazing. I loved it so much. So this actually leads us very well into our into works in progress, because I've actually cast on another hat for him in another one of the Knit Pick Felici colorways. This one is in the colorway Friendly Skies, and then this one is in the colorway Rustic Cabin. And I forgot to mention, this is a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon blend. And so I cast on another one. Because I got this done, I thought that I had knit it long enough to give it like a nice chunky like fold up brim. I can still fold it up, but I didn't realize his head is a little bit it's not quite as long as I wanted it to be. So I was like, well, that's fine. I'm not going to rip it out or anything. It still fits him very well. I have more colors of this. Let's do another one. So that's what I'm doing. And you might notice this is kind of funny. The striping pattern is a little bit weird. But what happened is, as I was knitting it, there was a knot in the yarn. So I cut that and then just reconnected the yarn. But when they were doing it, I don't know, they did it the wrong way. So basically my stripe repeat, instead of continuing on, it's like flipped. It's mirrored. I don't mind. Again, it's a baby's hat. He's not going to care. But if the striping looks weird, that's why. It was Knit Pick's fault, not mine. Not that it really matters, but anyway. So I'm knitting another one exactly the same. I'm just going to make it quite a bit longer. I'm already longer than the first one by a lot. So I should probably try it on him. But I want to do it where I can fold it up like maybe 3 inches or something like that. Like I want it to be like a nice chunky where it's like almost half of his head is double layered. So yeah, and these are really, really easy and super fun. Like I said, I'm knitting them on a US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter. And I love them. They're so mindless and simple. I'm planning to make some for my husband. I'm going to make him and the baby a matching hat. I have to get some different yarn for it, because I realized that was the other thing I was going to mention. I used just over half a skein of yarn for this one. So I'm going to use more than that for this hat. So I was thinking maybe I'll make him some mittens, because he doesn't have any mittens that fit him. But I can make him like a little matching set. That would be really cute. So I'm going to get some more yarn. I've been looking online for some more of the Knit Picks Felici worsted. And I found some for not too expensive, but this is something that I've been wanting to start doing anyway. I kind of want to start having like a stash shopping segment of my podcast, where if I'm looking for something in particular, I can ask all of you guys, and if you happen to have it and you're okay selling it and whatnot, I can just purchase it from you rather than buying like brand new stuff, and that way we can just use up all of our collective stashes. So if you happen to have any Knit Picks Felici worsted in like guyish colors, so without a lot of pink, so I have this other one from Susan. I think it was just the 3 of them. We moved like right afterwards, so I can't remember if there was a 4th one. I've been like finding random bits of yarn that I use as padding in different boxes. But in this one, you see there's a decent amount of pink, so that means I get a hat, which I'm not mad about. But if you happen to have any of the Knit Picks Felici worsted in sort of blue, gray, whatever guyish colors that you would be okay destashing, send me an email. My email's down below. It's just woldenburnmakes@gmail.com. Just get in touch, and I would love to kind of see if we can work something out. I'm happy to pay for it and pay shipping and all of that and whatnot. So if you happen to have some that you're just kind of like, I don't think I'm going to use it, let me know, because not only do I want to make my husband and son matching hats, I would also like to make my father-in-law and my brother-in-law hats for Christmas and birthday. So I kind of want a decent amount. But I'm okay using other kinds of yarn. But this one, I was telling my husband, I was like, this one's just so fun. It's just got all the striping already done in it. You don't have to weave in a ton of ends. It's just super easy, 1x1 ribbing. I love it. So, like I said, if you have some and you don't want it anymore, get in touch, let me know. Because I would love to get some more of it. Because unfortunately it's a discontinued yarn, so you have to look online like Etsy or something to find it. But yeah, so there's that. And I've been holding this in this beautiful project bag, which was a gift from Susan of Delightful Works, and it is perfect for playground knitting because I can just put it on my arm and I sit there and I just walk around and follow the baby and knit, and it's just amazing. I love it so much. I've been getting a lot of use out of it. So that's work in progress number 1. Let me get a drink of water. And then, what do we want to talk about next? We have a lot to talk about. Oh my goodness. I guess the next one that we'll talk about is this beautiful project that is being held in another one of the Delightful Works bags. Let me see if I can show you her tag. I will have her Etsy shop linked down below. Susan is amazing. She's so good at making project bags. They're just beautiful. So she made this one specifically for the fancy reading and needlecraft club that is being run by Stephanie of Texas Peach Knits and Holly of the Mystery Mouse Yarn Co. and the Mystery Mouse Knitting Podcast. And we have a discussion group on the Telegram app, and oh, I have Susan's business card. There you go. Like I said, I'll have a link down below. We have a book club, we have a discussion group set up in Telegram, and that's been really lovely. Again, I haven't been as active as I wanted to because life, you know. But we've been reading An Old-Fashioned Girl, which is like my favorite Louisa May Alcott book ever. I just finished it yesterday, and it's just, the ending is so sweet and wholesome. Like the whole book, like it's so cozy, and like, if the title doesn't give it away, of course I love it. Like, I am an old-fashioned girl at heart. Like, that's who I am. I just love it. So we've been reading that one, and I finished it. But Holly dyed up a specific colorway called An Old-Fashioned Girl, which is this beautiful thing. The lighting is a little bit weird. I feel like it's kind of... Let me see if I can take it down just a little bit. Maybe? Still kind of glaring a bit, but it's stunning. So I was thinking back and forth, and I was like, okay, what am I going to make with this? And I was pretty sure I wanted to make a shawl, because I was like, that would be really nice, like just a single skein shawl thing that I can wear like with my winter coat, and you've got your shawl. Beautiful. And I wanted it to be a free pattern because I'm trying to be as frugal as I can and economically minded as I can. We just bought a house. We've had our oven just stopped working, so we're gonna have to buy a new oven at some point. Like, being homeowners, and we're on a single income. My husband works, I stay at home. It's good to be frugal minded. And so I wanted to do a free pattern, and I wanted to do something that had the old-fashioned feather and fan or old shale stitch on it, because that just seemed to fit so well with An Old-Fashioned Girl. I love that stitch so much. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't knit more things with that stitch, because it's probably my all-time favorite knitting stitch. Like, I love it. So I found the pattern. It's a free pattern, like I said. I don't remember what it's called. I can't pronounce that. I'm going to pop a picture up here somewhere so you can see what it is. It's this beautiful, very, very, very simple shawl. It's mostly stockinette. And then on the border, it has the option where you can work it just in the single color, or you can add in a contrasting color to do the border in the feather and fan stitch pattern. The other thing that makes it really fun is it's got a little cable down the middle there. This is one of those projects that I have absolutely loved. I haven't gotten very far on it. I don't know if you ever do this. I'm kind of bad about doing this. If it's something that I really want or really love, I almost feel guilty about working on it or doing it, and I will make myself do literally everything else except for what I really want to do. And I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to get better about that. But this one has kind of been put to the side because I've been working on other things. But oh my goodness. I love this so much. It's not showing the color as beautiful as it is in real life. It's so like muted and cozy. The parts that are kind of showing up white, those are a pale blue, and it's just stunning. It is so gorgeous. I love this so much. I really want to work on it more. But yeah, it's just amazing. I love this pattern. I'm thinking I didn't bring it out here. I have a single skein of my hand-dyed yarn that I kind of want to look and see if it would work to do the contrast for the edging. If not, it's fine. I'm fine doing it in one color, but if I do that, I can make it just a little bit bigger of a shawl. But we'll see, because like it's just gonna be so amazing. So I highly recommend you check out Mystery Mouse Knitting on Etsy and the Delightful Works on Etsy. Both these ladies are just so talented in what they do. It's just amazing. And I did forget to mention this is fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and I'm knitting it on US size 5, which I think, is that a 3.75 millimeter? Because I think a 6 is a 4 millimeter. One of these days I'll have the conversions all memorized. But yes, so I love this project. And something I wanted to make a note of, what I usually end up doing for my knitting patterns, I kind of hate having them on like my phone or iPad or computer, because then I feel like I have to have one of those devices with me in order to work on the project. So I print my patterns out and then I put them inside a page protector, because then I can slide them inside my bag like this, and if they get crinkled up, it's usually not too bad. The page protector protects it. What I would really like to do is I would like to get the half size, you can get half size page protectors, and then you can print out your pattern where it's like that size. I'd really like to do that, but that's again one of those splurge things that I haven't let myself do. It's like, I don't know, it's like $5, but a $5 here and a $5 there, they add up. So there's that project. And then let me see. This one's going to be pretty quick. A little update on my Tulsa tee. I haven't talked about this one in a minute, but the Tulsa is a pattern by Rebecca of the Crochet Podcast, and I've mentioned my dilemma with this previously. I was knitting the, make sure, front raise, okay, Tulsa tee and some drops bell, and I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to finish it or what I was going to do. I've tried it on again, and I've looked at it, and I've realized what I'm going to do is I had started the pink again, because I need to slow down. I'm trying to hurry. The baby's sleeping and have a limited amount of time. It's fine. My dilemma was I had made the stripes so wide that I was like, well, I need it to be a little bit longer here, but I don't know that I need it to be this much longer. Like, I only just need it to be a little bit longer. So I had started the pink, and so I tried it on, and I was like, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip that pink back out, and I'm just going to do the ribbing. And I can do a nice chunky ribbon if I want to, maybe do a little bit extra. Because if you look up here at the top, because of the short rows in the back, the blue section up at the top already looks a bit wider and with the ribbing than the other stripes. So I'm just going to do the blue ribbing here, and that'll be great. And then I'm probably just going to do a little bit more length on the sleeves, and then do the ribbing there in the blue, and just finish everything off in blue. I think I have enough for that. Because yeah, I tried it on again, and I was like, this actually looks pretty good. Like, I like it. So just a little update on that. I've pulled it back out and resurrected that project. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully this will be one of those basically done works in progress that I'll have finished by next time. And this is also in Delightful Works bag, which is beautiful and beachy. I should have taken this to the beach with me. Oh my goodness, I'm so silly. It's fine. Yes, there's that. Let me get some more water. I'm kind of in a way like saving the best project for last. Like I have one that I am so excited to talk about. It's an almost finished project, which is just insane, but we're holding off. So the next one, just quickly, this was one that I cast on the way to the beach. I was like, oh, this is the perfect colorway for this. I kind of want a sock project to work on. Let's do this. So I have this yarn. Is this not like the most perfect beach color ever? Like, it's perfect. I bought this from Anna of the Anna Knitter Podcast. It's from the Opal Beauty collection. And it's gorgeous. Let's see, they do have the sock here. Like, that's what it's going to look like. It's perfect for the beach. I hardly worked on this because I was working on another project. But I have a cuff. So this one's just a quick mention of a project. This is just my usual sock recipe of 56 stitches on a US size 1 or 2.25 millimeter. And I don't know how many rows of ribbing I did. I did some ribbing, and then I've been going back and forth on what pattern I wanted to use, and I've just realized that right now I just want vanilla socks. I just want plain and simple. Like, that's kind of been the reoccurring theme for all of my projects. I just want simple. Like, right now I have so much going on in my head and everything that just, I want simple. So I was going to try and do like a textured sock, but I was just like, I don't want to have to look at a pattern. Vanilla sock it is. So we're going to do a vanilla sock. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you this because like I said, I hardly worked on it on the vacation. I cast it on in the car on the way there. I think I worked on it a little bit on the way back. But then I had to rip out some because I had started a textured sock pattern and I was just like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I ripped out like 2 rows but it's the perfect beach sock. Like, I couldn't not, like, so. And this is a project bag by Cherished Stitch by Oli Ali. I won this in a giveaway from the Fruitful Hands Knitting Podcast, which is an amazing podcast. You should watch it. Katie and Diana are my fellow Kentuckians now. Like, I was so happy. That was one of the things when we were moving into Kentucky. I was like, ooh, I get to be their fellow Kentuckian. But I won this in the giveaway, and it's just a really lovely made project bag, again, with the handle. But yeah, my battery's flashing, so I'm going to swap that out real quick, and we'll move on to the next project. Okay, 2 more projects to talk about. I'm not going to share my festival sweater that I've been working on, the festival sweater My Size by Petite Knit. I've finished one of the sleeves, and I'm working on the second one, but I'm going to save that for next time, because again, we have a lot to talk about. So 2 more projects. The first one, it's kind of boring to show it. There's not a lot to tell about it. It's a, again, I'll put a picture up. This is a pattern, oh my goodness. I am knitting my husband a cardigan. I've told him it's a Christmas present, but I've told him about it. So there's no stress to like get it done if it doesn't end up happening. I've told him it might not happen by Christmas, but we're giving it a shot. I am making the Neighborly cardigan, which is a pattern, I think it's by Lion brand. I'm not 100% sure. It's a free pattern. You can find it on Ravelry. Well, actually, the Ravelry page just connects you to, it just connects you to the Lion brand website to download the pattern. But the pattern calls for the Lion brand Touch of Alpaca yarn, which is an acrylic it's like 90% acrylic and 10% alpaca. Instead of getting that, I decided to go the more economical route, because here's the thing. My husband wears flannel shirts all winter. Like, that's what he wears. And he'll just have like a t-shirt and then an unbuttoned flannel over it. he doesn't wear a lot of sweaters. Like, I've bought him sweaters before. I've never made him a sweater, but I've purchased him sweaters before, and he just doesn't wear them a lot. He wears his flannel all the time. So before I made him, like, since we've been dating, we've been talking about me making his sweater for him, but I was like, you don't wear sweaters. Like, you just don't. You wear a flannel, like, all the time. So I didn't want to make a whole sweater for him that he was never going to wear, and I didn't want to use crazy expensive yarn for it if he was never going to wear it. So I decided to go the economical route for this. We're doing a cardigan. It's got a zipper up the front, which is similar in style to a cardigan that he does actually wear. It's like his jacket. It's like the work logo branded whatever jacket. He does wear that one. So I'm making him a cardigan with a zipper down it, and I'm using inexpensive yarn just in case if he doesn't wear it. That's fine. Like, this is my test run. If he ends up wearing it all the time and loving it, I'll probably make him a nicer version. But for starters, I wanted to go inexpensive. And I'm kind of in the middle of a row, but it's knit in pieces and then seamed all together, which I don't mind at all. But this is the color that I'm using. This is, again, a Hobby Lobby yarn. They just have the most, like, economical yarns because they go on sale. And so you're able to get it for 30% off every other week, which just makes it a really great price, and I like supporting Hobby Lobby. So this is the Yarn Bee Yarn ID yarn in the Bonnie Lass colorway. And this is a US size, or not a US. This is like a worsted weight yarn. It's 80% acrylic and 20% polyamide. So it's still quite soft and nice, like acrylic yarns. And yeah, it has a little bit of like a variance in the color, which I really, really like. I like yarns that do that, where they have like a little bit of like, yeah, variance in the color. They're not just a flat color. I really like that. So I was only able to get 5 skeins of it, but they've since like replenished it, so I might have to use a different dye lot, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Losing stitches here. So, like I said, I'm in the middle of a row because this is kind of, I took this on vacation because this was really easy to work on, because you have to knit like 17 inches of stockinette stitch back and forth, so I have like plenty of ways to go where it's just knitting and purling and knitting and purling. And yeah, it's just a very simple classic cardigan. It's just got like 2 cables down the front, and it's inspired by Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and all of his cardigans and sweaters, which if you didn't know, I'm pretty sure, like, this is what I've read, that all of his sweaters were sweaters that his mom made for him, and he wore them on the show as a way to like honor his mom, which I'm just like, it's so sweet. Like, that's just the sweetest thing. But yeah, so, and this is just in a Celtic Thunder, revealing my music tastes tote bag that I got. My husband and I were able to go to the Celtic Thunder concert when I was pregnant, I think. I think it was when I was pregnant. And that was really fun. And I got a tote bag, so makes a good knitting project bag. But yeah, so it's kind of boring because it's just like a section of back. You do the back first, and then you do the 2 fronts, and then you do the sleeves, and then you sew it all together. But I'm excited about that. I think that I've gone about it in the right way, where I'm not like putting a ton of pressure on myself to get it done, because I find if I do that too much that like it just takes all the joy out of it. And I'm happy to be making something for my husband. Like, I like making him things. I make him socks all the time. It's just my hesitation has been, I don't want to make him something. I don't want to spend a bunch of time making him something if he's never going to wear it, because that's just, it's so sad. But this is a test run. We're going to see what happens. And the nice thing is I love the color of that, and I steal Micah's cardigans all the time. I'm telling you, I just need to knit myself some more cardigans. I need to, I've been doing some looking at patterns for that, but I need to do that because I steal his cardigans all the time. So if he doesn't wear it, I'm gonna wear it. It'll be perfect. So that brings us to the last project I'm going to talk about today. So excited. This is the project that I worked on like 90% of the time when we were on vacation. I have been wanting to knit this pattern for forever. This is kind of, well, not for forever. When I initially saw this pattern, it has gone, the ranunculus pattern, if you're not familiar, by Midori Hirose, Knit Cafe Midori, I think is what it is. It is an extremely popular knitting pattern. People have made millions of them. It's constantly in the top patterns on Ravelry. I don't know if it's ever not in the top patterns on Ravelry. Based off of the pictures from the pattern, I would never in a million years want to knit this pattern. Like, that's the thing. Like, based off of the pictures, it's just this really, like, open, huge, drapey, oversized, like, just completely opposite of my style. Like, just would never want to knit it. However, I have been watching Amber from A Lovely Yarn, and she has knit several beautiful versions of this pattern. And also the other reason why I haven't knit it is the same reason that Amber waited a long time to knit it. Whenever something's super hyped, 99% of the time, I'm just like, because everybody likes it, I don't like it. It's so silly. I used to be so bad about that when I was a kid. Like, if my older sister likes it, it's disgusting. It is the worst thing ever, and I never want to do anything with it. And then I get older, and I actually, like, this was like with books and things, and I would read them, and I'd be like, she was right. So, I saw Amber, I think it was last summer, or maybe the summer before, she knit one, and I was just like, this is like the first version I've seen, because I haven't dug into the project pages and like looked at everybody's. I don't really do that on Ravelry. But I saw her versions, and they were like fitted and pretty, and I was like, okay, that version I could make. I could do one like that. Well, so ever since I saw that, I've been kind of wanting to knit one. And then Diana and Katie from the Fruitful Hands podcast and Amber from A Lovely Yarn are co-hosting a ranunculus knit along, and I was just like, this is the time. I'm going to knit a ranunculus. So that's what I'm doing. And I have been working on this thing like crazy. I'm using stash yarn, which was another reason why I was like, this would be perfect. I had 4 skeins of the Yarn Bee Cotton et Lin in the mauve colorway, and they'd only had 4 skeins. And I bought this, I think it was last summer, and it is a 80% cotton, 20% linen blend. And ever since then, I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to make with this? I have no idea what I'm going to make with this. This is just going to sit in my stash for forever. So it's been sitting there. I've been thinking about maybe I'll make a Tulsa tee out of it or do something else, but then the yardage amount was really low. I only had, let's see, what is it, 180 times 4. It was like 600 or 700, something like that. So I didn't have very much yardage of it. However, the ranunculus pattern just does not take much yardage. It's supposed to be knit on US size 10 needles, which are huge needles. And you can knit it anywhere from a fingering weight yarn or a lace weight yarn all the way up to like as bulky, chunky yarn as you want. I definitely did not want mine to be see-through and airy. I wanted it to be like, I wouldn't need to wear an undershirt with it. So I am using US size 9s because also I'm a loose knitter. I'm a continental knitter, so I knit loosely. So I'm using a US size 9 and for the main portion and a US size 7 for the ribbing. And yeah, so so happy. It's amazing. I love this so much. It has been so fun to knit. As you can see, like, it is very much not see-through. It's perfect. So let's talk a little bit about what I have done. I cast on, so with this pattern, every size casts on the same number of stitches, and you knit the whole yoke the exact same for every size. And then after that, there are raglan increases You can kind of see it there. I'm happy they're having fun. They just have some neighbor kids in the neighborhood that have like these little like motorbike things, but they're so loud. Anyway, then there's raglan increases, and that's how you change it per size. So I just worked the whole yoke as it was written. I use I think it's the German twisted cast on for the neckline. It's a little snug. I use the size 9 to cast on, and then I use the size 7 to knit the ribbing, because I wanted to make sure. I don't know how people get their long tail cast-ons and German twisted cast-ons to be so loose and stretchy. Mine are never that way. So I wanted to make sure I have a little bit of extra give in there. So I used the size 9 to cast on. And then I knit the yoke as was called for. And then I was going to knit the size 2 based off of like what Amber had talked about with hers. And so the other thing that I did that I have like never done for patterns before, I tried this thing on so many times. I bought some. Do I have some of it with me? I'm not one to buy the expensive gadget things. No, that's the wrong project bag. Wrong Delightful Works bag. So everybody talks about the barber cords and that you can use for trying on stuff. But they're so expensive. And then I was, somebody commented on one of my old podcast videos and was like, hey, you can just get pony bead cording for this. It's the exact same thing at the craft store. You can get a huge, like, you can't see this. You get a huge roll of this for like, I can't remember if it was like $3 to $5 at Hobby Lobby. And you can cut it in whatever length you want, and it works perfectly. However, I misplaced this right before we went on vacation. I could not for the life of me find it. I was so annoyed because I knew I was going to be trying on my ranunculus like a million times. So I was just like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So I didn't have this. So I would just yarn needle, scrap yarn, go through all of the stitches, take it off the needle, try it on, assess, reverse the process. But when I got back, I used this on my Tulsa tee because I found it. And I was just like, oh, this is so nice. So, way, way cheaper, and it works. It works perfectly fine. So, highly recommend that. But anyway, as I was saying, I just tried this on. Like, I finished all of the yoke section before the raglan increases, and I tried it on. I was like, okay, looking good, looking great. Definitely need to do some increases. So I increased up to I did the size 2 increases, and then I put it back on the needles or on the yarn, scrap yarn, and tried it on again. And I was like, okay, we're looking good. I think I need just a little more length, and I think I need some more stitches for the arms. So what I did is I think I did 2 more rounds of increases, but I only increased for the arm. For the body, I just knit it. I probably didn't need to do that. The arms have plenty of ease in them, but it's so nice. So then I tried that on, and I was like, okay, this looks good. We're going to separate for the sleeves. So I knit it down, and then I tried it on again before I did the ribbing. I was like, oh my goodness. Then I did the ribbing, and I think I tried it on again before I cast off. Like, I'm telling you, I have never tried on a sweater this many times in the process. Like, anyway, then when I was done with that, I knit the first sleeve, and I have a limited amount of yarn. So I did the body first so I could knit the sleeves. And I was like weighing the yarn to see if I would have enough, and I did, they're kind of like, they're past elbow length sleeves. They're like mid forearm length. And so then I did like a, I guess you call it a rapid increase. I decreased about like 10, 15 stitches maybe, and then did the I-cord bind off, which is honestly probably one of the best looking ones that I've done yet. That I've only done it like twice, so it's a little bit misleading. But like the join here looks pretty good, and I am very, very close on the second sleeve. I think I have just a little bit more stockinette to do, like maybe like 2 or 3 more rounds, and then I can do the bind off, and I am so excited. And you might be thinking, Emily, why are you making a cotton and linen blend sweater when it's fall time? Here's the thing. Since being pregnant and having a baby and nursing, I run so warm. My mom and I kind of talk about this because she's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, where she's kind of like getting to that phase where she gets hot flashes and things. And we commiserate over this, where I'm just like, what are these hormones doing to me? Because I used to be the person that was like freezing cold all the time. And now I'm like super hot all the time. So I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this fall. Honestly, I probably need more cotton and linen sorts of things. So that's why. And that's why I'm also working on finishing up my Tulsa tee, because I was like, I can wear this with like a cardigan and stuff in the fall time. It'll be fine. And I'm so happy because I am literally going to use up like all of this yarn. Which I'm just so happy to have it out of my stash. Cause yeah, I don't know why there's some yarn that you buy that you're totally fine with it just sitting there for forever. And some yarn you buy and you're just like, why is that still in my stash? Why have I not used it up? And that's what this one was. And then technically, I'm still going back and forth on this one, so don't get your hopes too set up. While we were in, we went to Orange Beach, Alabama. And while we were there, there were no local yarn stores like close by. And also, again, just bought a house, being economical. I didn't want to go somewhere and spend like tons and tons of money on yarn, because the reality is like really don't need yarn. So we just went to Hobby Lobby because I was like, I kind of want to get like something, just a little something as like a souvenir for the trip. And I knew that they had one that was kind of like a beachy name. And so I got this one. It's the Sunlit Seafoam, which is their I Love This Cotton yarn. And my original plan was to make some like dishcloth things in our book reading club. One of the ladies in there, it made these beautiful like dishcloth things that have like the scallop around the edge, and they were so pretty. They were crocheted. I was like, ooh, I would love to make those. This would be perfect for that. And I don't remember the pattern or anything. I'll see if I can share it next time. Well, then I was working on my ranunculus, and I was just like, this would make a cute ranunculus. So I cast on another one. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not yet. I have been thinking about all of the Christmas presents and things that I want to do, and I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't. But we'll see. But like I started it and I was just like, ah, it's so cute and it's so soft. I will say the cotton linen one from Hobby Lobby, the linen is scratchy. Like it has a little bit of a scratch to it. This is just pure softness. It's like so nice. So I'm going back and forth on it. We'll see. I might end up ripping this out and just using it for the dishcloths like I was thinking about doing, but I haven't decided yet. So I was just like, oh, wouldn't this make just such a cute little like top? But then pale peachy color or pale like pastel colors don't really work with my skin tone, but anyway. Technically I've cast on another one, but it's probably gonna get frogged. I'm just not sure yet. So, super happy with this. This will for sure be a finished object by the time I podcast next, because I literally have like that much. I was gonna try and rush and get it done, and then I was like, that's a bad idea. So, that's about it. I have I have an acquisition to show you, and then a little bit of a shop update, and then we're gonna go ahead and close things out. So, I have lovely knitting friends. They're like the sweetest human beings on this planet. So, Stephanie from Texas Peachy Knits sent me the most beautiful little package and letter and stuff, and it arrived at, I kid you not, like the perfect time. It was at the end of that extremely exhausting, terrible, rough week. I was having no sleep, emotionally upset, like it was just not a good time. And surprise package showed up on my doorstep. And Stephanie sent me the most beautiful yarn and the most like perfect color. It's showing up much more like raspberry colored. It's a bit more muted than it's showing on the screen. It's this gorgeous pink color, which I have just been embracing all things like pink. I feel like I'm finally like embracing my childhood love of pink and letting it shine again. I have like my ranunculus that I'm making, and then I have this one, and then another pink yarn, burgundy fuchsia pink from Mystery Mouse Yarn Co. Holly, that Holly sent me, which is gorgeous, and I cannot wait to work with it. And now I have this, so I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited. She sent this to me, and it is stunning. It is a, I believe it's a DK weight yarn? Yeah. It's from Highland Handmade's Butternut DK yarn. I don't think this yarn is doing, or this company, not this yarn, this company is making this anymore. I tried to look them up online and I couldn't find it. So I don't think that they're in business anymore. It is an 85% Polworth and 15% silk blend. Like, it feels so luxurious to think that I can knit a sweater out of this. I very much use just the 75-25 superwash merino nylon. Usually it's like my hand-dyed yarn because it's a little bit cheaper than buying yarn. But like, I saw what the blend was, and I was just like, oh, it's so amazing. I can't wait. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make an anchor sweater by Petite Knit out of it. And I can't wait. That's the problem with doing gift knits and it being gift knit time of the year. I have like 3 or 4 different sweaters that I want to cast on. I have this one, then I have the one that I was talking about with Holly's yarn, the Jessica Fletcher colorway, that I want to make the Lady Catkin pullover out of that, and then I have the yarn from Emily of Night Bright Yarn Co. Then I want to make some stuff out of that, and then I'm just like, I need to make things for other people. So rude. But, so she sent me this, and then she also sent me the cutest yarn ever. It's so tiny. This is the Regia Baby Smiles yarn, and I can't tell you how happy I am to have this, and this is one of the things that I need to make for other people. I have never, shocker, never knit Baby Tam any socks. I was planning to knit him some before he was born, and I knit his cousin a pair of them, but I didn't get to it right before he was born. So I need to make him some socks, and I was like, this is perfect. I can now knit him a pair of socks, and I'm very, very excited about it. This is a 25 grams, they're typical, just 75% wool, 25% polyamide, Regia yarn, and I think the reason why they call it baby yarns, I'm pretty sure, is that what they do is that instead of with a usual self-striping, well, like with this one, if you tried to knit socks out of something that had stripes this wide, but you're doing it on a tiny circumference for a baby, the stripes would end up, you would get like 2 stripes for a sock or something. From what I understand, with this one, they just made the stripes more narrow so that when you're doing the tiny circumference for a toddler or baby foot, they have actual little stripes. That's what I understand it to be, so I'm very excited. Thank you so much, Stephanie. It was just, this made me smile so much. And then the other thing she sent me, do I still have them in here? Which was super helpful, and I used it for my whole, gotta take everything out, my whole ranunculus sweater. She sent me a set of her Texas Peach stitch marker, stitch markers. And I tossed it down in the bottom of the bag. I hope I haven't lost it because that was my favorite one. There's a little peach on there. Did I stick it in here? I don't see it. Oh shoot. I hope I haven't lost it because I loved it. I used it for my whole ranunculus sweater. But there's a little cowboy boot, which I love. And then there's a State of Texas one, which is very appropriate. Stephanie's in Texas, if you don't know. Which again, if you're not watching her podcast, go watch it. I love Stephanie. She's amazing. But yeah, and then there was a little peach one. And I really hope I haven't lost it. Because I love it. It was perfect for a stitch marker. I'm going to have to sort through her. Or did I put it in my little pouch? Again, this was, Susan didn't make this one, but she gifted me this bag. And it was perfect for taking to the beach. Because it's like this kind of waterproof fabric. I didn't actually knit on the beach because I was just watching the baby the whole time, but perfect for the beach. And then I also, again, I'm telling you, Susan spoiled me rotten. Notions pouch. Amazing! It fits all of my little zippers and, or not zippers, there it is. Ha, okay. I was like, wait a minute. Did I actually put it in there? It's got my, again, a tin of stitch markers from Susan. My little needle case, chapstick, and then my little scissors. I need more little embroidery scissors. But yeah, so here's the little peach, which is so perfect and cute. I love it so much. There we go. So this might be my favorite stitch marker I've ever used. It's just perfect. So anyway, there's that acquisition. I love it. Can't wait to work with it. And then very quickly, if you don't know, if you haven't been here for a while, I dyed some mini skeins of yarn back in May they were my Red Wallflowers mini skein set. And I very much want to get back into dyeing some more yarn. I have this idea for, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but doing like seasonal releases of mini skein sets. Like, we'll talk about that another time. My craft area is still in shambles. It has been very low on the priority list to get it organized and sorted through after moving. And I just don't have the same storage that I did, and it's just taking a while. And then all of my yarn dyeing stuff is kind of on the floor in the laundry room because we don't have a shelf over top of the washer and dryer. So it's just, nothing is in a very good spot to do yarn dyeing. However, I finally was able to unpack my last box of yarn earlier, and I found some yarn that I had in there that is my hand-dyed yarn, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna just see if somebody else wants to buy it because I don't know that I'm gonna use it anytime soon. So we have 3 skeins of this. I'm calling this my, oh, what did I call it? It's like Misty October Mornings or something. It's a very autumnally sort of a colorway. It's got golds and greens and then pale greens and dark greens. Beautiful, beautiful colorway. But it's been sitting there for a while and I just can't figure out what to make with it. So I thought, you know what? We're gonna see if anybody else wants it. So this is listed in my Etsy shop. I'll have it linked down below. Yeah, it's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon on a fingering weight base. This is all that I have of it. It would make a beautiful shawl or sweater or a pair of socks. Yeah, so that has been listed up there. And then I have 2 more one-of-a-kind skeins. I think that I used these. I was using up leftover dye that I had. So this one is a mostly creamy white, but with lots and lots of speckles. I think this one, I called it my Wildflower Frolic because it's a very muted base, but with lots and lots of speckles and things on there. It's got golds and there's little bits of pinks and greens and purples and yeah. So there's that one. And then this one, which is mostly a pale purpley with kind of browns and golds and greens kind of speckled throughout it. And these two would actually go together very nicely. But these are also listed in my Etsy shop. It was very, very difficult to try and get a true color of this. It kept wanting to show up blue, but it's like a dusty gray lavender purple sort of a look. So we have these yarns up in my Etsy shop if you're interested. I'm hoping to, probably not till next year, I'm hoping maybe next spring to be able to do some more hand-dyed yarns, but at the very least not until January or February. But these are up in my Etsy shop if you're interested at all. I do have some mini skeins of my hand-dyed yarn in a navy blue. So if you wanted a sock set, you can just send me a message. I have a navy blue and a brown of mini skeins. And so if you're interested in that, I can absolutely do a sock set for you. But yeah, so ta-da! But that brings us to the end of what I have a feeling is going to be a very, very long episode. If you have stayed all the way through, I appreciate you so much. I hope that you enjoyed it. There's a lot to catch you up on. I'm hoping going forward that I'll be able to do another one in a week or two. Because yeah, like I said, I don't know, I've been knitting so many things and creating so many things, and it's really lovely. I've been enjoying it. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe and like, just to grow the community here. And I will have everything linked down below. If I miss anything, or if you have any questions, be sure to send me an email or leave a comment down below. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I hope that if you're in the northern hemisphere that you're finally getting some fall weather. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying the ends of spring, beginning of summer, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you very soon on the next one. Bye.